changing their official languages. We'll take the case of Rwanda. Rwanda was a French-speaking country and decided to abandon French and change to English. And we all are evidence to see that Rwanda is doing well today. So we might not only look at it that only the language aspect changed to Rwanda, but it plays a big role to the development of Rwanda. So language is part of culture and it's a factor of development. Looking at Cameroon, I would say that it is a vice because of the historical aspect towards the coming in place of bilingualism. If you look at a country like Cameroon, where the history of Cameroon haunts the Cameroonians, meaning that, first of all, the Cameroonians themselves don't accept that they are bilingual. And you cannot gain from something if you don't accept it. It means that for bilingualism to play a role and impact the economy of Cameroon, the Cameroonians themselves need to accept bilingualism. They need to accept the two language. What I mean by acceptance implies French as an official language. Those who speak French should accept that English is an official language which they are supposed to incorporate in their different practices.
So is this one at the individual level, or this is at the individual level? You're
not at the individual. I'm looking at Cameroon.
No, because as a whole, a commission has been put in place, the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, spearheaded by His Excellency Peter Mafene Musonge, and who is currently working towards making sure that the country is being bilingual. But now, saying that they are refusing. Who is refusing?
When I say Cameroonians themselves don't accept to be bilingual, meaning that just take a walk down the street and do a small sample. You meet 10 people and you ask a question. If in Douala, which is a French-speaking part of Cameroon, when you ask a question, 9 of the persons will tell you, le Cameroun est bilingue, moi je ne suis pas bilingue. So it tells you that the citizens themselves, if you go to Boya and you ask questions in French, out of 10, 9 will tell you Cameroon is bilingual, but me, I'm not bilingual. So bilingualism cannot contribute, as of now, cannot contribute to the development of Cameroon because Cameroonians themselves need to accept it. That is why that commission has been created. A lot needs to be done to sensitize the population, to see the relevance of the two language. Because if we don't see the relevance and we don't know the importance, we cannot gain from it. And adding to it, if you look at it, that aspect of bilingualism has created a lot of fragments. Has created a lot of fragments in Cameroon. It has impacted policy making and so on and so forth. So, to me, what needs to be done at that level for it to contribute to economic development is Cameroonians accepting the nature of bilingualism, accepting the country is bilingual. A French-speaking Cameroonian should love English. An English-speaking Cameroonian should love French. But because of that complex that a French-speaking Cameroonian may have for English, an English-speaking Cameroonian have a complex for French, it makes it very difficult for the role of bilingualism to impact
the economy. Yeah. Thank you very much, Akum Ndib. Anunik, your point of view, you're of the same opinion that to a greater extent is more of a vice than a virtue, meaning that it has more of a negative impact on the economy rather than a positive impact.
Yeah, the reasons can be looked from the historical foundations of the country, Cameroon, right from the 1961 reunification, the inception of bilingualism. That is from 61, Cameroon became a bilingual nation of English and French. But when you look at it critically, you see that the English aspect of Cameroon was introduced to the French aspect as a kind of a minority language. So they were not really like introduced to the other part of Cameroon as an equal language that need to be promoted equally. It was more of like French was more promoted than English, tied to the majority population, which is French. Yeah, like, but when you look at during the period of federalism, the then president Amadou Ahidjo was like making effort to promote bilingualism in the country, like by creating bilingual schools and the rest. But if you look at the deep line, the hidden truth behind was that there was kind of lack of political will to really make Cameroon, or to really make the two languages be a beneficial heritage for the country. There was kind of an unwritten plan, like to wipe or assimilate the English language. Tying to the fact that maybe they considered English was like a minority language to them. So there was no like lack of political will to promote bilingualism in Cameroon, because like bilingualism is simply, or you can simply put it like ordinary bilingualism and official bilingualism. Ordinary bilingualism is just like somebody being able to express himself in English and in French fluently, or be able to write or read to an extent. Official bilingualism, like in Cameroon, is the promotion and the protection of the two official languages, that's English and French, backed by the constitution of the country. That's official bilingualism. But you look at it critically from the level of the constitution. The constitution says that Cameroon is a bilingual, bi-jura nation, but the constitution doesn't really give a backing, like an obligation for people to be bilingual. So there is no law that says that if you are not bilingual, or you'll be punished or something.
So how does that affect the economy?
It affects the economy in that people do business the way they like, or the people run the state affairs as they like, because bilingualism is multilingualism is an asset to economic development. Like if you look at other nations that are promoting, that incepting other languages into their official languages, like China. If you look at the European Union, most of those European Union countries are introducing English as to their official languages. Meanwhile, in Cameroon, we have that asset, that from the historical background, we are not putting importance to it. You can see importance to economic development of languages, like in terms of trade deals. Yeah, there are some studies that have shown that countries that invest in multilingual programs add to their trading partners. That is, they add to countries they trade with, which is an asset to the economic development of such countries. But in our country, we have the asset, we have the advantage, but we don't tend to give importance to it. I think I cannot say the government is like not doing anything. The government is like of recent making efforts to promote bilingualism in Cameroon. But I think they need to do more. Like in the promotion of official bilingualism. First of all, they need to make it legal, in the sense that officials of these nations, that means for you to be appointed to a post of responsibility, like a minister, a director of a company, be it private or public, there should be a law backing that you should be bilingual. You should be able to speak, read, write, and understand English and French. I think with that,
fluently, I think so.
Yeah, fluently. I think with that, it will make people to be more interested in bilingualism, or in our own bilingualism. Let me say our own bilingualism of English and French. Of recent, and I know the future is bright because of recent. Most of our Francophone brothers are making effort to learn. Even most of them who were not taught English in school, they are at least making effort to send their children to.
They have understood the importance of bilingualism, and so they send their children to.
Yeah, they send their children to English schools so that they can be a bilingual in future. I think that is a good aspect
and a good step.
A good step for economic development.
Let's take a second question in tonight's edition. If you are just tuning in, you're watching Viewpoint on DBS television. Any reason for the poor implementation of the concept of bilingualism in Cameroon? You talked of, yes, is it more of the lack of a political will? Is it a selfish interest not to see the country grow, or what actually is the main problem to properly implementing bilingualism, despite the fact that concerted effort are being made to make sure that every Cameroonian at least can understand English and French?
At that level, I would say the first limitation is the level of sensitization. Much needs to be done. The government is putting effort, but the effort is not sufficient. People need to be aware. Both parties, we could not just say that, yes, the commission, the English speakers should also understand the importance of French. The French speakers should understand the importance of English. We have been seeing a switch like he said, most Francophones send their children to the English subsystem because of the advantage of English in external affairs or trade. And also, the English speakers should also see the importance of French. Most people, if you meet an English speaker, will tell you French is sub-language to English. They will think that English is more superior.
Maybe don't you think?
No, let me just, at the individual level,
All
some
right.
people may have that complexity that English has more superiority than French. But that's a lie. That's a lie, because French has its own role. Even we know that when it concerns entertainment, French tops the lead in entertainment all over the world. Poetry, drama, and all the likes. French tops the lead. So we cannot also look at it all on one side. So the English speakers should also, the government, the Bilingualism Commission, should also sensitize the English speakers in Cameroon to see the importance of knowing French. The French speakers should see the importance of knowing English. Secondly, the Bilingualism Day. That day, the International Day of Bilingualism, should be a day that should be celebrated by all practicing
I think
field.
it's a national day.
It's a national.
It's a national. Okay, national. Okay, National Day of Bilingualism.
They talk of a national week of
National
bilingualism
week.
leading towards the 11th of February. I'm Brighton.
Good. I think that week, it should not be only the educational sector that should be celebrating bilingualism. Even the practicing field, even you, the journalists, also, you also need to portray that aspect of bilingualism. The other domains, it should be something that all the practicing field, everybody has to feel a pinch of bilingualism. So at that level, the government most of the times limits it only to the educational sector. So for it to really have an impact, they should extend it. It should be a celebration for the whole country. All the professional domains should also celebrate the bilingualism week.
Maybe, don't you think that because they think that they committed an error, so they should start with the
Younger
generations
generation
to come?
That is why I'm proposing
Why
that
the
it is.
older ones are going there, the new ones will not come great
Good.
the concept.
Good. That is why I'm saying that much needs to be done. They should extend it. It should not only end at the level of the educational sector. Then, if we look at the implementation of bilingualism in Cameroon, there are schools that the government, bilingual schools, and most of the schools that run the bilingual system in a way that his child can write GCO level and BPC, they are selected schools in Cameroon that run that program.
How many of them? I think I just know one in Boya.
Good. So, good. The government should make effort to create more of such schools.
When they even talk of bilingual, it simply means that the school runs both system of education.
No, there is a special class.
Bilingual
Okay.
Special bilingual class from Form 1 where they are studying in English and in French.
All right.
And they both take the two official exams.
All right.
It's a special series that's created. So the government can create more of such in other government schools in other regions, so that it will really give out good breeds of bilingual students. And also at our individual levels, we are not contributing as much. Cameroonians need to emphasize on the advantage. Let us tell our children that knowing two languages is an advantage. Not only English, no, even more than English, foreign languages, it is an advantage. It's an asset. It's an asset, just like he said. It's an asset.
And all this will lead to
economic development.
Anonik, you think that is lack of political will in properly implementing the concept of bilingualism?
Yeah, I think it is 100% lack of political will. I think if I'm made a president of Cameroon today, and I wish that every Cameroonian will be bilingual, they will be bilingual. It just means you just need to make that political will and make that decision that Cameroon should be bilingual and work towards it. But if you look at the current system, it's like they are not interested, like Cameroon being or promoting bilingualism. If you look at Cameroon is promoted externally more of like a French country than an English country. If you go out of Cameroon before you understand it, people know Cameroon they don't even know that there's an English part of Cameroon. It's just maybe due to the current crisis that have made people to understand that there's an English part in Cameroon, which was done deliberately politically to suppress the English language. And I think it's high time the way is changing. The way the government can learn from its error by promoting. I think the government, I can say, they are working up and they are doing something to promote bilingualism in Cameroon, but it's too late. Yeah, it's as if they saw that the world is moving towards adopting English, because English is like a global language of science and commerce and the rest. And they saw that they have the asset and they could not be left behind, and they are trying to catch up, which is a good thing. But the government need to do much. Of opening bilingual schools is good. I think even in the 60s when Ahiju was opening bilingual schools, it was the same thing, like the opening of the bilingual grammar school in Boya. It was actually a bilingual school that everybody was studying in French and English up to the BAPC level, and then before you choose, you go now to high school and continue with the either French section or English section. I think if we can, the government can, if they really are willing to make Cameroon a perfect bilingual country, they should maybe bring into that, transform many of our bilingual schools into those bilingual programs. But I would say that takes a lot of political will to do that. It's not a matter of means. The means is there to do it. Yes.
All right. I equally want to know from you. You have this experience of teaching students.
Yeah.
And in one way or the other, don't you think that this issue of speaking Franc Anglais has, in a way, contributed to not promoting bilingualism? Because the youth, when you listen to them speak outside, they neither speak French nor English.
Yeah.
They are just, even the students in school, they just mix both languages with pidgin in it, and they just jam-packed everything.
Yeah,
has it not contributed to that?
Yeah, it has actually contributed to that. I can say this fact that even our Francophone brothers are sending their children to the English, it's not really it's promoting bilingualism to an extent, because these children, they live in a French culture and they speak French all the time. They speak French even in class. In fact, you're teaching them, you need to get angry all the time to tell them not to speak French. They spend all their time speaking French, and the kind of things they write, at times you don't understand whether they're writing English or they're writing French. They just mix the two. So it's a kind of a mixed.
So do you think it has affected the promotion of bilingualism?
Yeah, it's actually affected the promotion of bilingualism, because firstly, I said, to promote bilingualism, you have to there need to be legal frameworks for bilingualism to be promoted. You have to make laws to oblige people to be bilingual. I take for example, in fact, and also you have to give incentive to people to be bilingual, to make people attracted to be bilingual. For example, like in Canada, which we so much compare with Cameroon.
Cameroon,
Yeah. Like in Canada, there are advantages of being bilingual. For example, women who are bilingual and they are working in an office, they have a 6.6% increase in their payroll, just being bilingual in Canada. And men, for example, have a 3.6% increase in their payroll, just the fact that they are bilingual, just the fact that they can speak the two languages, English and French.
And just the fact that they are motivated, they will therefore work harder for a greater output.
Yeah, that is it.
All right, Mr. Akum,
Yes.
what should be the take-home message then to the youth growing up? To us.
I would like to give a take-home message to the Cameroonians that bilingualism is an asset we have inherited, and we have to use it because it will increase our human capital. The capital of Cameroon, the skills we send out of Cameroon will increase. So it is our place to accept bilingualism. It is our place to promote it at the individual level, at the administrative level. Bilingualism is good. It is a virtue.
It is a virtue. Akum Tip, an economist, thank you very much for coming. And Anunik Nkem of Civil Society, thank you for contributing.
You're welcome.
That said, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of today's edition. Thank you very much for your kind and keen attention. Do stay tuned to DBS television. Coming up at 7 p.m. You'll be having the primetime newscast with Cynthia Nguemo. Until then, do take care and stay blessed.
Coronavirus is not an imagination or an invention. It is a real threat that spares no one. We are already counting so many casualties. The